Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 11 of What If Naruto was the legendary Uchiha x Namikaze. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode over on Anime King of What If Naruto was the hope of the Uchiha clan. Enjoyed that guys. And over on Anime King 3 I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto had the ultimate nature bloodline. So go ahead and enjoy that as well. And remember, if you're new, to go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new, I'll be planning talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say begin this new episode? Start the intro. So the last time we left off, Naruto and his group was quickly making their way with haste as they tried to get to Armin and the others. As they quickly made their way through Shizune, him, and Awashi, as they speed through the corridors, as they heard chaos going on, they knew that something was wrong. Everything had went to hell. They quickly made their way as Naruto got injured, but Shizune quickly stepped into his aid. Once the barrier was down, they descended upon the troops as it was nothing but pure chaos. When they arrived, Naruto lost it as he saw Katetsu, Armin. They were dead. They were dead. He saw their bodies in the center and they were surrounded by ninjas. They were surrounded by 500 Anvus. This mission was a lie, a setup. Baku had used them to infiltrate the enemy to see how much they were, not caring about their life, and know his friends were dead. Naruto could not contain it anymore as they lost it. He dived into rage as his eyes twisted and turned. I watched his son Naruto's eyes turn into something else. As Naruto awoke in the Mangeto Sharingan, with that he was able to access the Kamui. He remembered talking to his uncle Shisui, as he told him about the eye above the Sharingan. As Naruto was like a literal devil, as he stomped through the battlefield, they feared him. They ran. As the commander of the crew saw Naruto butchering his shinobis one after another, he did not hesitate, he did not slow down. He slaughtered up to the last man. It was then that Baku finally arrived with his army. As Rainjutsu saw Armin, she cried. Mikasa broke down and she screamed out to Armin. But then the two Anvus arrived, to show that they were not Anvus but indeed they were the 4 and 5 tails, Jinchuriki. Baku summoned a massive dog called Sorbus. A dog that you had to have great will to control. The festering hate Sorbus could feel it inside Naruto's heart as Naruto and his platoon took on the 4 tails as they damaged it, stabbing it right in the eyes, blinding the beast as they went after its legs, as Naruto then controlled it with the Sharingan. He made the beast move as it slammed into the 5-tailed horse, and there was pure chaos. The Anvu commander watched as the 2 tails beasts were taken down with much ease, as the boy forced them to fight against each other and they decimate each other. It was pure chaos and destruction. As Baku looked towards Naruto, as he saw all the remaining black lights, all of them looked up towards Naruto. But they didn't do it for themselves, they did it for the ones that they lost. For Armin, for Katetsu, all the ones that they lost. As everyone gave them a firm salute. Despite winning the war today, a part of Naruto had broken, and Baku saw it. And the hate in the boy's eyes were unending, relentless. His eyes were dark, cold, wicked. So yeah guys, that's basically as we left off. You guys can switch across the play sector for yourself. So what do you say begin this new episode? A person was currently sitting in a dark room, his eyes fixed on dead bodies in front of him. The atmosphere was dark and gloomy. Occasionally, the only sound he could hear was the sound of his own breathing. It was through a morgue. It was one of the few places that could break someone. seeing the bodies of your loved ones lying dead on the table. But the person that was standing there just observed the bodies in front of him. He was currently looking at a body in particular. He had fair skin, dark brown hair. His body was still in the black, light uniform, and his weasel mask on his face. It's my turn to protect my village, just like my parents and my grandparents. The words still echo in Naruto's mind, as his dark red Sharingan looked at the face of his deceased friend. No, he did not lose a friend tonight. He had lost a brother tonight. A brother who he had laughed, trained, fought, and been through hell together with. He lost him tonight. He was gone in the blink of an eye. He lost his best friend. As Naruto observed the 25 dead bodies around him, a tired sigh escaped from his dry lips. They had emerged victorious and they had captured the castle, but 25 of his troopers lay dead. For that victory, Armin and Katetsu was one of those 25 kids who would never go back home. Their bodies won't have the privilege of being laid to rest in their motherland. His friends will never be remembered, and their names will be vanished in the sands of time. No benefits will be paid to their families because they didn't even exist. I'll never accept this. I'll never let you die in vain, Armin, said Naruto as he grasped his hand. As Naruto was angry, Armin, Katetsu, Aoba, and the other 22 soldiers that died were declared missing in action, so that your families won't be eligible for any benefits. Their bodies will be burned to ashes. That was a Black Flag code, so there will be no existence that they ever existed. All records had been wiped out too. Armin, Katetsu, Aoba, they never existed. How dare they? How dare they, Naruto thought darkly, as his fist clenched. Naruto, it's time, said Aizumo quietly as he watched, as Naruto gave him a stern glare. His friend was furious. He had every damn right to be mad and furious. This is bullshit, Aizumo. I won't let my brother's sacrifice go in vain. Aizumo sighed. Naruto, we can't do anything. The command has already taken the decision. They're gone. But the next instant he was grabbed as he was pushed in the wall, as he stared into Naruto's eyes. Don't you say that. Those damn bastards in the higher command had no idea what it felt like to lead some of the finest soldiers of our army and watch as their members get betrayed by their own goddamn country, said Naruto. As Aizumo averted his eyes, there is no point in fighting over the dead. You of all people should know that we cannot disobey the order, said Aizumo. As Naruto looked him directly in the eyes, tell that to Renjutsu who lost her boyfriend. Tell that to Mikasa who lost her childhood friend. Tell that to Genman Rado who lost their closest friend. Tell that to the man who died for their country. And they won't even get a goddamn military burial, said Naruto. I understand your pain, Katetsu and Armin, they were my friends as well. But please, don't do anything drastic now. It will be considered an act of treason and you will be branded as a traitor. We will figure something out. As Naruto released his collar, as he gave one final glance to the bodies, Baku had spread the message of their victory of the Shanzek Palace, just to get more morale in his people and more goddamn war funds. But what about the families? What about the families that lost their loved ones? There was not a single penny that was going to be given to them. Orders were given to dispose of Armin and others' bodies, and the disposal squad was outside waiting for that. Their bodies will be burned away to protect the secrets that their bodies and brain hold. The ghost company waiting outside believed that they were just following protocol, but the real truth was that all evidence was being erased right now. Only Naruto and Aizumo knew of this, as Aizumo had gotten the message from the higher command, and he told Naruto about it. Do the others know about this? Naruto asked. No, it's just you and me. If we tell the others about this, there may be anarchy. They're on edge right now, and many of them are not emotionally stable. This is dangerous, Naruto, Aizumo warned. As Naruto cursed Baku for 1,000th time. Where's that son of a bitch Baku, said Naruto. He had to make sure his man didn't do anything drastic no matter the cost. He's with the second company and is off on another mission. What is your orders? Aizumo asked. I have recorded everything in my mind in my Sharingan. I will talk to my father about this directly. The only problem is, Baku will surely investigate my mind to make sure that all evidence is erased. This is why I want you to convince Iwashi the Seal. These members away in my subconscious to protect them, understood? Are you sure about this? Aizumo said. We can tell Mikasa if you want. No, she will never accept such a great injustice, and it will lead to an uproar of the Black Light. We cannot afford this action at this time of the war. Unity must be maintained at all costs. I'll get Iwashi, and you convince him by tonight. But that means you will be the only one that will know the truth about this atrocity. Will you be able to bear it? Asked Aizumo sadly. As Naruto gave him a firm nod. It's best if you stay out of this. If Baku can go to such lengths, then he won't hesitate to eliminate you. If he finds out that you're a threat, I'll handle this by myself, said Naruto. with a stern gaze. Aizumo gave him a determined nod. As he started to walk out, he then paused. "You are a true hero," he said to Naruto, "and I am proud to have served with you." "I am no hero," said Naruto. "I'm just trash at survival and my friends die in my place," said Naruto, shamefully. Naruto. "But I serve in a company that is full of heroes," said Naruto. Time skip. The bright flames enveloped the entire area. As the bodies were being burned, grief and despair was in everyone's eyes. As Naruto's eyes were currently focused on Ranjitsu, who was looking at Armin that was being burned. Her eyes showed that she was devastated, and this was all his fault. If only he had stopped Armin from going ahead, then this wouldn't have happened. "It should have been us," said Mikasa. He was right beside him. He took her hand. "It's not your fault. I gave him permission to scout the castle. None of it is your fault." "I'm sorry, Mikasa. I'm sorry for everything." Her grip tightened on his hand. "He cared about you deeply, and he wouldn't want you to blame yourself for this," said Mikasa sadly. "I can't do it. Every moment, this hurts. Every single person now. They died while following my orders, and it doesn't matter what anyone says. Their death will forever be on my soul." Mikasa looked at him as she realized he was holding up this pressure. The burden of being a leader was strong, heavy to bear, and he was holding it up. But after this war, if they survive this war, he was gonna have a lot of serious issues. "I want to go home, Naruto," she said. He looked towards her as he saw her crying. Tears pulled from her eyes. "I don't think I'll make it back alive." "Listen to me. You're not gonna die," said Naruto. "I won't let you. I need you. No matter what happens. No matter who lives or die, I need you at my side. You will survive this war. Please, promise me that." His words were simple, but something struck her at that moment. All this time he was there for her, supporting her, making sure that she was comfortable, overlooking her negative traits. "Is he in love with me?" she thought. She knew this was crazy, but deep down in her heart she really wanted this to be true. She had never forgotten their kiss in the forest, or how he promised to be her family for the rest of his life. And he had kept his promise no matter what. Mikasa knew that she was not perfect. She was brash, and sometimes she was really cold. Most of the troopers called her a bitch because of her uncaring attitude. But they did not see who she really was. On the inside, deep down, she was an insecure girl. After what happened to her family, she couldn't really trust people that much. But Naruto had broken and slashed down all the barriers that covered her heart, and he came for her. No matter the circumstances, he was always there for her. For the first time in so many years, she could understand what he meant to her. The events of the day, and the turmoil that she went through, finally took its toll on her. She started to fall unconscious. But there was one thought in her mind. "I love you, Naruto." Time skip. Naruto lay Mikasa on her bed. As he watched her breathe in and out, he had to stay strong. He must not cry. He had to be the leader. He had to be the commander to stay strong through it all. There was only one way he can fulfill this responsibility. He had to kill his emotions. For the sake of his friends and country, he would have to become a true ninja to kill off his emotions. As he took her in bed, he felt strange as he rushed outside rather quickly. As he coughed into his hand. He was coughing up blood. But the messed up thing about it, he was not seeing the blood. Everything was a blur. "What's happening to me?" he said. But then he felt calm chakra spear across his body. "Did the pain subside?" said a gentle voice. As Naruto realized it was Shizune that was healing him. "Thanks, Shizune," he said. "But what is happening to me?" She pointed her fingers towards his eyes. "It is because of those eyes. You overused them dangerously. I don't know what you did, but the only reason why you're alive is because of the soldier pills you took from Aizumo." "So, am I dying?" said Naruto. She flicked his forehead lightly. "No, but you will die if you keep on using those eyes. Your body doesn't have the amount of chakra for you to be spamming that jutsu. I'm warning you for the final time. You're still young, your chakra coils are still not developed yet." "Do I make myself clear?" she asked in a stern tone. He knew that she wouldn't want to protect him as he gave her a promising look. "I won't use it unless necessary," he said. Even he realized the effects that the Mangekyou Sharingan started having his eyesight. His uncle was right, the Mangekyou was not a power that should emerge from the shadows. Shizune healed him back to full strength. As she started to walk away, but he grabbed her hand. "It will be okay," he said. "You don't have to hide your feelings." Her eyes became moist as Naruto pulled her into a tight hug. I need some time," she said. He knew that she was close to Katetsu. But as usual, she could hide her feelings deep down. But in the inside, she wanted someone to comfort her. She was glad he could see how much she was suffering. He rubbed her back. "I miss him so much," she said, tears falling from her eyes. "I know," said Naruto. Time skip. It had took an hour for him to let her vent her feelings out. As he was going to check the weapon cache, He had to make sure that they were properly stacked. As the leader, he had to make sure they were ready for anything. He sensed a chakra signature inside though. As he pulled his kunai just to be ready, he peeped through the wall. As he saw that he was none other than Genma though. What are you doing here? I never gave you order to check this place. No, you did not. I want to check the inventory myself. Don't worry, I already entered my name and ID in the register, said Genma. As he counted the kunais, Genma was a mysterious person. He didn't like the rule, but he fight beside him, considering the fact that they could not stand each other at first. But now they fight side by side. And he also saved his life out there. Thank you for saving my life back there, said Naruto. I did what a soldier did for his commander and nothing more, nothing less. But Naruto simply smiled calmly. Regardless whether you saved me as your duty or as my friend, it doesn't matter. I'm grateful for you, said Naruto. As Naruto stepped to the side, Jinma was confused why did Naruto not blast out at him being rude. There was no hatred, no anger, just emptiness. Are you okay, Jinma said. You're awfully weird and unusual. As Naruto looked up, I don't think that we're fighting a war of justice. What will we gain if we win? Jinma looked towards Naruto. It was the first he was seeing this side. Naruto had changed a lot over the past couple of years. Changed from that brash idiot to a leader of his own post. Someone that Genma could respect as his commander. Don't tell me you're a pacifist, Genma said. The people I killed, they had families, friends, siblings, lovers. When I killed them, I saw the look in their eyes. The same fear, the same sadness and defeat that I see in my comrade's eyes tonight, said Naruto. Oi, Namikaze. Don't forget, they killed Ayuba, Armin, Katetsu, Commander Fox, Yujeu, and so many other of our comrades. They were the ones that started this war. We have to get revenge for all the pain that they caused us, said Naruto. However, Naruto shook his head in the negative. Revenge in one way. And trust me, I want to slaughter them all for what they did to my friends. Every cell in my body is itching for me to kill them all. Then what's the problem, Genma said, confused. All we can think about is our nations and our comrades. But in doing so we neglect to think about the pain that we cause upon other innocent people. Genma looked confused same way. So you want us to give up and surrender to the enemy? Is that your master plan he acts in a sarcastic tone? No. Today I understand that all the shinobis are the same. Each one of us is fighting for our own justice or enemies, or fighting for their own justice. And so, are we. Genma shook his head. Ayuba was my friend, and he was killed like a dog by those stone bastards. There will be no sympathy for the enemy. We must kill them all, Genma said. As Naruto was thinking to himself, if this carry on, humankind will be extinct. Because war will never stop. There's no ending to war. So what were they fighting for? Loss? Death? It doesn't matter what we think, Genma said. Once a kunai pierced our head or our heart, everything is gone. And there's nothing left, no politics, nothing, no peace. So that is your answer. Death is the only way to stop this madness, said Naruto. I don't know, man. I'm just saying a soldier and my thoughts don't really mean much, said Genma. It doesn't matter, said Naruto. Your thoughts, they does matter. All it takes is one man change history after all. The first Hokage in the clan's war, and he created Konoha due to his will and his thoughts for a better future. But just a few years later, said Genma, rebuting that, the Shinobi War started up. And then countless lost their life. What was the point of bringing peace if war was going to come on the next time? Just a couple of years after, and then the second Shinobi War, and then the third, and now we're at the fourth. Think about it. What did the first Hokage do? Because he couldn't stop the war. He did something back then that might have saved a couple lives, but now, they're dead. And chaos is still here. You're right, said Naruto as he lowered his head. Here, take this, said Genma. It will calm you down. I didn't take you for a smoking man, said Naruto as Genma offered him a cigarette. Well, shit happens. This thing keep me calm and keep the crazy thoughts out of my head. So take one and stop your mind from overthinking things, said Genma. As Genma lighted the cigarette. Naruto never smoked before. So Genma laughed when smoke came from his mouth and nose as he coughed. As Naruto growled at him. You look like a total idiot, said Genma. The great Commander of Phoenix couldn't handle smoke. Jeez. Thanks for the support, jackass, said Naruto. Genma felt happy. Namikaze was a truly good commander and a good person. As the respect that Genma had for him had triple, maybe quadruple, when Naruto jumped in front of that Beijo bomb to save his company. You're an idiot. But you fight with honor and protect your people, and for that, I'll be happy to call you commander any day, Genma thought. They knew that crying wouldn't bring their friends back, so they did not cry. They kept themselves stern. Time skip. Mikasa woke up, as last night had been terrible. Certain parts. To find out that Armin was dead, a part of her felt lost. Her sole purpose of joining this war was to protect her two friends, no, family. To protect them. And yet one of them were now gone, and a part of her felt dead. As she looked towards a photo with Armin and Naruto lifting her up. It was her birthday. The boys had steal some ingredients and tried to make her a cake. It was a disaster, but they made it. As she looked towards Armin, knowing that she would never get to talk to him again, hear him again, see him smile again, take care of Naruto. She remembered when he said those words to her. She knew what her purpose was now. The light of their world, the person that was trying to keep all of their comrades strong. She had made a choice tonight. She would live her entire life for his sake. And if called, she would die for him. You won't be alone forever, she said. She looked towards Armin's face. But not yet. Not yet, she said. In another corner of the base, Rinjutsu slowly opened her eyes. Last night had been a tough night for her. She had a massive headache because she drank so much sake. Her nostrils picked up a smell. As she turned, she saw a coffee being offered to her. It will help. Her eyes hardened when she saw the person offer her the drink. This was the man that was responsible for the death of one of the dearest person of her life. She smashed the cup as a coffee, even hit her face, and fell all over the room. What are you doing here? Her light grayish blue eyes were fixed on Naruto was giving her a sympathetic look, and that angered her even more. I'll get another one for you, but you need to rest, so don't move. Just get away from my sight. It's because of you that Armin is dead, she said. As Naruto picked up the broken pieces of cup. I know, and there's nothing you can do about it now, he said, as he sealed the broken pieces in a small scroll. She moved as she grabbed him and slammed him into the wall. He did not even flinch or move. It was like he didn't want to rebuke her action and consider her guilty for the death of his best friend. Do it, said Naruto, as he saw the kunai placed right in front of her chest. He saw the anger, the pain, the sorrow in her eyes. This was all of his fault. He was supposed to die at the castle, but his best friend went along and died in his place. No matter what they told him, Armin and Katetsu's death will be forever on his soul. Every part of him wanted to die, but he would keep on fighting because he made a promise. When he felt like he couldn't fight anymore, he saw his family and they gave him the strength to keep on fighting. He was bearing the hatred from his mother, from breaking her heart. It looked like he would also have to bear the death of his friends forever. If you had not given him permission, he would have been alive right now. What were you thinking, she said, as Naruto could feel the kunai pressing up against him, but his eyes did not look down. He looked her directly in the eyes. I never wanted this to happen. I would rather die than let my best friend get killed. But things did not went the way that we expected. You knew I would never hesitate to sacrifice my life for my friends. But the truth is, I failed. I could not protect my friends, and their deaths are all my fault. And I failed. He meant a lot to me, she said. I feel as a son, as a brother, and now as a friend. So go ahead, put an end to all of this, said Naruto. But the kunai dropped to the ground. She crashed in his chest as she was crying. He placed the arm around her as she cried. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, she said. She really felt ashamed for blaming him. In her anger and pain, she forgot that Armin was Naruto's best friend. How could she think that this was his fault? I'm not asking you to forgive me. I won't ask you not to hold a grudge against me. But I wanted you to know, no matter what, I'll be here for you. As he gently wiped away the tears from her eyes, she gave him a weak smile. She reached up and wiped the tear that he was leaking from his eyes. He was also crying, as a lone tear had slipped out. Armin believed in you, and I won't let his dreams fail. And I believe in you as well, she said. She was surprised when he hugged her back affectionately. She didn't know what impact her words had on him. It was like a burden that lifted off his chest. I'll make things right, he said. She had seen the pain that he was going through, just because of his eyes. She knew that Armin had gone ahead, because he wanted to protect his friends, but more than that, he wanted to protect Naruto. I'll watch over him for you, Armin, and stand by his side always, Range was her thought. Alright, said Naruto. Let's get you something to eat. As he moved towards a small table, where there was a tray of food. Naruto, I really appreciate your help, but I'm fine. Besides, I'm not hungry, she said. Like hell you are. First, you're gonna drink the coffee, said Naruto, and then you're gonna eat something. She sighed. Armin will forever be in her heart, but she knew that she had a war to keep on fighting, friends to protect, comrades to support. Looking at Naruto, she wondered how much he was suffering. She was devastated because of Armin's death, but Naruto knew him longer, and they were like brothers. Yet he was holding himself together, taking on all the responsibilities. "How are you doing, Naruto?" she asked. "I'm fine," said Naruto. "Don't worry about me," he said. "Naruto, I cried the entire night," she said. "It will really help if you let your emotions out. You don't have to be here so much by yourself. You can tell me," she said. He came forward and kissed her on the forehead. As he gave her a smile, "Thank you," he said, as he sauntered out of the room. As she sighed tiredly, "You don't have to handle everything by yourself," she thought to herself. But neither of them noticed the pair of dark blue eyes that were watching the entire conversation. Time skip. Naruto didn't know what the hell was going on. He was in a strange dark corridor. It felt like he has been here before, but he didn't know where he was or what was going on. He heard strange voices coming all around him. His heartbeat increased as he pulled out his Tonto. These whispers started turning to screams. "What is this?" said Naruto. "Demon. Monster. Murderer." He quickly started to run as he saw silhouettes appearing behind some strange doors. He had to get out of here wherever the hell he was. "Hey there, rookie." Naruto froze. That voice. As he slowly turned, as Naruto couldn't believe what he was seeing. It was Hisuna. She stood there in her black light uniform. You, said Naruto as he couldn't understand. Hisuna Yamanaka stood in front of him, but she died along with the rest of his squad. At the hill, this didn't make any sense. "It's good to see you, Naruto-kun," Hisuna said, as she came forward and pulled him into a hug. He could do nothing but freeze, as he did not understand what the hell was going on. The whispering had stopped. There was nothing but silence all around. Hisuna was surprised and he brought the hug and placed a kunai towards her throat. "Who are you?" he said. "You are falling. You have to stop it now," said Hisuna. "What the hell are you talking about?" "Hisuna died a long time ago. So who are you? And what do you mean I'm falling?" said Naruto, confused. But before she could say anything, her eyes widened as chains came and wrapped her in her body and started yanking her into the darkness. "Naruto, remember who you are before it's too late," she screamed at him. Before Naruto could say anything, he was in her room. As he saw a small chimney with a fireplace, a bed, grayish walls, and a chair. Someone was sitting in front of the fire. The person slowly got up. If previous Naruto was shocked, now he was terrified. Because in front of him was a person that looked the exact same way as him. "Oh, I get it," said Naruto. "I'm in one of Mikasa's scary genjutsus. I can dismiss this with a snap of my fingers." "I like to see you try, smartass," the other Naruto said darkly, as Naruto snapped his finger. But nothing happened. "We need to talk. And you're not going anywhere," the other Naruto said. "Who are you?" said Naruto. "My poor little Naruto-chan. You're the same naive kid from all those years ago. Don't you remember me? Or shall I say, don't you remember yourself?" As the other Naruto Sharingan swirled, and a torrent of memories was released on Naruto. "Akairyu," said Naruto. "Yes, you remember me. Or should I say, I remember you. Because ultimately, you're part of me," Akairyu said. "After all this time, you show your face to me again," said Naruto as he grabbed him by the throat and slammed him into the wall. Akairyu simply laughed. Still the same naive child who people use for their own benefit. "Don't tell me that you don't miss me. I was the one that saved your ass the Valley of the Hell. I was the one that saved your ass at Shanzei. I was the one that gave you the power to fight the Biju. I'm your hatred. I'm your power, you stupid fool," Akairyu said. "You listen to me, you son of a bitch. I'm done with you. And I don't want you back again," said Naruto. Before Naruto could react, he was slammed into the wall by Akairyu. As he was slammed roughly, his throat was grabbed. "Is that what you said when your father abandoned you? When he left you alone to worry about that stupid village? You were always relying on me," Akairyu said. "No, you manipulate me," said Naruto. "You made me hate my father. I cast you at the day that you tried to manipulate me to hate my brother. I only show you the truth of how you actually feel. You hated your brother you never loved. Itachi Namikaze," Akairyu said, as he punched the wall right beside Naruto's face. "That's not true. I love my brother," said Naruto. "Stop it, you can't lie to me. I know how you feel. You are being ignored by your father, yet you never lift a finger. You have low self-esteem. I know how worthless you feel inside, how much you hate yourself, how much you're dead inside." "Shut up," said Naruto. Memories that he tried to block her from the past was now returning back to him. "You're nothing. You were cast aside like a piece of trash. But Itachi, he got everything that he wanted. He was loved by your parents. He got everything what he wanted. He is in the village living peacefully while you're in this war. burying your friends. Perhaps he has a girlfriend at home that he's sweet with, while you're out here suffering in the dirt, the muck, the gore, fighting for every day. And he got everything. I chose this path, said Naruto. I chose to go in this war to protect my brother, said Naruto. What's the goal of your life? To protect your brother, isn't it? And who gave you that life? It was Minato Namikaze, your own father command you. Put you through hell. He knew perfectly who you are, a good soldier, nothing more, nothing less. Daddy, personal henchman, Akario said. You son of a bitch, said Naruto as he kicked him away. As Naruto grabbed his tongue and ripped it through Akario's heart. I love my father, Naruto said. And I love my brother, said Naruto as Akario coughed up blood. As Naruto punched him in the face as he crashed into the wall, his body collapsing with a thud. As Naruto blinked, Akario was in front of him. His eyes were black, a hole in his chest. You can't escape me, Naruto. You will eventually snap, and this is what you will become. A monster, Akario yelled. Naruto was shaking awake as he blinked. Mikasa was right in front of him. Naruto, are you alright? As Naruto looked at her, his eyes looking terrified. That day he felt the terror of being ruled by his dark side, as cold sweat was dripping off his brow. Time skip. Powerful gusts swept through the area, as 70 troopers stood in attention. In front of them were two people. The soldiers looked towards Naruto with respect, and they looked towards Baku with a blank stare. Baku couldn't understand. Why couldn't he understand that? Every shinobi were just tools. Yes, many soldiers died under his command, following his brutal orders, but they had gained a leg up in this war. Ideologists could not help win a war. If soldiers like Naruto was needed, then people like Baku was needed as well. There was no victory without sacrifice, and Baku didn't give a damn what they think about him. As long as Konoha was protected, that was the only goal here. Ghost Company, he said, you are being transported to another war zone. Your services in the war against Hidden Stone is no longer required, said Baku, as all of them gave him a suspicious look, but none of them said anything, waiting for him to explain further. Tomorrow, all of you, at 5 hours, will be embarking on a long, tough campaign in Takeshima Island of Kiri. Your objective will be to capture the islands and kill every enemy. He saw Naruto requesting his permission to speak, as he gave him with a nod. Why? Are we going to Kiri? We have to participate in Operation Flash in the Hidden Stone. But Baku shook his head no. The Hidden Stone is on the verge of defeat. Their forces are in full retreat. Harrison Sama and 2nd Division have already started to infiltrate the various sectors used in the castle. Their Jinjurikis are dead, and as for Tishikage, he will be personally handled by me. Roshi and Han were dead. Han died from the numerous bites from Cerbus, poison that had coursed through his body, and he died. As for Roshi, overusing of the foul Bichu Chakra, Kagama and Harrison Division will finish Hidden Stone. They were history now. As for Tishikage, he knew that Baku could handle him. What is the situation of Kiri, said Naruto. Kakashi Division have suffered great losses. Apparently Kiri has developed a weapon that is called missiles, and they have caused havoc on the battlefields. Entire platoons were wiped out within minutes. The Navy has put Kakashi and his unit on the back end. If this keeps up, they will be wiped out in a couple of days. Mikasa thinks that no wonder Kakashi requests their help. Blacklight troopers were specialists when it comes towards Navy warfare. This weapon's gonna be a pain in the ass, in my thought frustratedly. Ghost Company is linked up with Division 2. Your objective is to capture the islands. The most dangerous one being Misasaka Island. It is where the missiles are stored. Is that clear? Asked Baku sternly. How destructive are these missiles, Naruto asks. It has a blast radius of 20,000 yards. 20 platoon of Envoy Black Ops were wiped out when they tried to capture the island. Baku saw the shock in their eyes. They were terrified. Do you want us to get killed? Said Genma angrily. They said madness. We won't go on a suicide mission. You got so many of our friends killed. At Shira's castle, said Ranjutsu. Furious protests as Baku released his ki to maximum. As many Blacklight troopers collapsed to the ground. Don't push me to brand all of you as traitors. You are soldiers of Konoha, and it's your duty to fight and die for it. You will capture Miyasaku, or I will kill all of you myself, said Baku. But the next second, a kunai pressed up against his throat, and another one pressed up against his chest. Misaka and Naruto had placed their weapons at him without fear or hesitation. Supreme Commander or not, lay a finger on my soldiers, and I'll kill you myself, said Naruto. And Mikasa pressed her Kona a bit closer to make their point clear. Baku. He looked towards the young kids. He expected something like this from Naruto, but this young girl. The moment Naruto made his move, she had reacted in a second. Well, she was the new second in command of the company. Is that a threat, trooper? Said Baku. But Mikasa was the one to speak. That's a promise, she said, her eyes looking at him darkly. I can kill you in a flash, Namikaze. I won't tolerate any threats to Konoha, said Baku. But Naruto chuckled. Look around you, Baku. Kill me, and you won't leave this base in one piece, said Naruto. As Baku noticed that all of them had gotten up and pulled their weapons, they were just waiting on Naruto's signal. Baku calculated the odds he could take Naruto head on, but he would have to worry about the others. Mostly this girl. She was the second strongest right after Naruto. And not to mention Minato would have his head if he killed these kids. You can order us all you want, but there's one thing that you will never get from us, said Mikasa. You may be a strong ninja, Baku, but you fail to understand the most important thing of being a shinobi of Konoha, said Naruto. All of you are failures as ninjas. Don't you see my decision? Are all to protect the village, said Baku angrily. But he was further infuriated when he saw Naruto looking at him with nothing but pity. He then gave the soldiers signals to lower their weapons. He gave Mikasa a stern look as she pulled back her weapon as well. As Naruto sheathed his Tanto and started to walk away. We will do this mission, but not for you, because you don't even know the damn meaning of being a Konoha shinobi. The next second, Baku flashed behind him and grabbed his shoulder. Do you know who you are talking to, soldier? He said. If this brat was not Minato's son, then he would have already been dealt with. As Naruto's eyes became murderous. To them, to all of the command, they were just pawns to be sacrificed. He was the only one that had to care about his soldiers, because these upper heads were just using them. Protect the village, huh? Said Naruto. You yet have no idea to see how long and difficult it will be to protect the real village, said Naruto as his eyes glanced towards every single soldier. I admit, said Baku, many of her comrades have died in line of duty. But this, it what it mean to sacrifice yourself as a shinobi. Then I pity you, Commander. What you are trying to protect is the bricks and the houses. But the village we're trying to protect is right here, said Naruto, as he ordered them to leave the commander alone as he walked away. Baku clenched his fist tightly as he walked away. You'll pay for this, Namikaze. Time skip. You ready for this? Iwashi asked. As Naruto gave my encouraging smile. I am. You know what kind of man Baku is. I have to present this atrocity to my father. But he's on the front line right now, and informing him won't do any good for the war. He already has a lot to deal with. Seal off my memories. Are you sure that this will work? Said Naruto. Yes, it will. Only I am not going to get this information out of your head. But they will require your support to dive so deep into your subconscious. Once I seal away this information, you won't be remembered for a few months, but it will come back. As Naruto activates the Mangekyo Sharingan, as they look into his eyes, both Iwashi and Izumo, as Naruto nodded. Whirl of illusion, said Naruto. A small seal glowed on Naruto's head as Iwashi and Izumo were caught in Naruto Genjutsu. Iwashi and Izumo collapsed onto the ground as Naruto grabbed his head before he spat out blood. Ah, Naruto-chan, you seem to be in bad shape. How are your eyes? The voice in his head said. As Naruto ignored the voice. Time skip. As Naruto looked up at the bright moon in the sky. Something was bugging him. This war. This war was doing something that no one saw. No two-tailed beasts were dead and no one knew where they would pop up. There had to be some other reason for this war. Someone had to be behind it. A mastermind. Finally, dumbass. You see the real reason, Ikario said. Naruto wanted to ignore him, but are you saying that someone is using this war to capture tailed beasts? You are so naive. Think about it, all of us. The three great nations could not wage war against Konoha. They didn't have the balls to do so. But now they are. And this weapon, this missile, it's not something that Kira can develop. I killed the four tails, and who knows where it will be appearing again, Ikario said. As something started to make sense in Naruto's mind. It will take time for the 4 and 5 tails to be born again, but they'll be juice. It won't be easy for them to be sealed away once again. Ikario smiled. Unless you have the Mangekyo Sharingan, he said. Naruto was snapped from his thoughts as Rainjutsu came walked up to him. She rushed up to him. What's wrong with your eyes? She said. His left eye was black, and blood was pouring out of it. It was black completely. It looked demonic. At first he didn't understand what she was talking about, but then his eyes hardened. I will take over your body completely one day. You're a bastard. I've told you this countless times, and I hate you, said Ikario. Naruto closed his eyes, as he could feel Ikario's possession decreasing over his body. He had not even realized how much dangerous the dark side was when he lost himself into hatred and darkness. It was best if he did not talk to him. Why do you hate me so much? Naruto had to ask. Because you broke the heart of the person I love the most in this world, Ikaru said. And with that he disappeared from Naruto's mindscape. As Naruto sat there was a dark side of his soul that could harm everyone that he loved, and he had to stop it. But he was the one that created Ikaru. Ikaru was born because of Naruto's mistake when he was younger. He did not view the world that he view it now. He did not think happy thoughts back then about his father. Ikaru was born because of all the neglect, the self-loathing, the hatred, and the anger. Up to this day had fueled him to become even stronger than before. And the more angry he gets, the more stronger he becomes. The more deeper he dives into darkness. Are you alright? As Rainjutsu looked at him, as she carefully wiped the blood away from his eye, she was relieved when she saw his eyes were back to normal. I'm alright, what are you doing here? As she sat beside him on the soft grass. Never mind that, why were your eyes bleeding? And why were they black like a demon? As she gave him the most intimidating gaze that she could muster. It's nothing, said Naruto with a chuckle. I overused my eyes at the castle, so Shizune gave me some meds to heal them, but it has some really strange effects. She tried to estimate whether it was lying or not. Are you sure? She asked. As she gave him a smile. I am, said Naruto. Would you like to eat something? She asked. As she saw that he accepted her offer, she pulled out a few scrolls as she unsealed the food that was inside. As she smiled, dig in, she said. As she waited, as Naruto ate the chicken off the skewer, she saw him smile. Amazed, he said. And she smiled happily, as she loved that he loved her food. So, what do you think of the cooking? She asked. It's very good, said Naruto. Amazing, to be exact. It has this unique taste I've never tasted in all our time in Black Light. Where did you get it? He said, as he was eating some more. Well, I didn't get it anywhere. I cooked it, she said. As his gaze turned a bit guilty. I'm sorry, he said. I should have thought about it. It's really good. It's fine, you didn't know I could cook. I just hope you enjoy the rest of the meal. They fell into a comfortable silence as the both of them ate, as they took at the small feast that she had made, enjoying the food and the sweets at the end. As they came to the end of the sweets, Naruto asked, So, what's your favorite color? He said. He asked that innocent gaze. He was just curious. Oddly enough, it was silver. But recently, I started to like a golden yellow. Naruto reached up and pulled his hair back and looked at it, as that made her chuckle. What about yours? She asked. I like the color black, he said honestly. When's your birthday? He asked. September 9. Mine is September 15. I'm older than you, Rainjutsu, said Naruto. Cake? She asked. A small piece, please. As she cut him a really tiny piece and placed on the plate in front of him. As she cut herself a sizable piece and leaned back until that tiny piece hit her in the face. She grimaced as she wiped the frosting off her face as she saw Naruto with a bigger piece. It made him laugh until he looked down. His cake was now gone as he saw her swallow the entire thing. As his eye twitched. No one pranks me. She was about to laugh until he tackled her. As the both of them rolled on the ground. Trying to prank me, huh? The prankster came from hell, he said. Well, I can't exactly be dull with my best friend. Tries to pull one on me, she said. As Naruto realized that she was on top of him, it made him feel strange. He shouldn't be feeling like this. Will you be angry if we call tonight here? He said. I have some duties I have to embark on before we go on our mission. As he helped her seal away the things. He then hugged her. Thank you. With this war and everything. Thank you, he said. I really needed this. You don't need to thank me for that. You were there for me when I need you the most. What kind of friend would I be if I weren't there for you as well? She said. You're a nice person. I'm grateful for having you in my life. The young teens did not notice the broken look of Misaka watching over them. Time skip. There was a knock on the door as Misaka opened it. As her eyelids looked darker than usual, her hair was messed up, and she was trying to give him a normal look. I'm sorry for disturbing you, but I need to discuss something with you, he said. Can it wait? I'm a little sleepy, she said. She was lying. Is something wrong? As he placed a hand on her forehead. Are you alright? He asked. She was so wrong. She had confessed her love to him. Well, she didn't really say it to him. She said it in the moonlight, thinking that he would just start loving someone like her. It made her start to overthink things. He was the son of the Namikaze clan. The son of the fourth heir to the clan. And she was a nobody. Her parents died a long time ago. She was a nobody from the orphanage. What was she even thinking that his family would accept him being with someone like her? She wished that he would love her, and it wouldn't change how she feel about him. But she didn't know. Mikasa. She was snapped from her thoughts. I'll talk to you in the morning. I just need some rest, she said. He saw that she looked tired, as he came forward and gave her a kiss on the forehead. Get some rest, he said. We'll discuss the backup plans in the morning. Yes, she said. Good night, he said. Good night, she said. Once he was gone, she collapsed on the floor, leaning up against the door, as her tears started to flow. Meanwhile, at the hideout, in the base, 4 people stood beside each other. One of them was Zetsu. The other one was Kisame, with Samihata on his back. And the third person there was someone that was missing for a long time now. Kushina Uzumaki. She was dressed in her Akatsuki robes, as her red hair flew freely in the air. The man in the center stepped forward, the spiral mask over his face. The war has entered its final stage. The Jinjuki of the 2 tails, the 4 tails, and the 5 tails has already been killed. The villages have suffered a lot already. And by the end of this war, it doesn't matter who will win. The system will be broken, and there will be no one that will be able to stop our plans at that time. We can capture the tail pieces, one by one, said Tobi. What do you need from us if everything's going as your plan? Asked Kushina, as he looked towards Zetsu. We need to take care of something. Pain-sama has requested this mission personally. Konoha is going to strike Kiri army tomorrow. They're going after the island. He wants you to bring his missile back, if they cannot protect it. This is no mission, even you Zetsu can handle this task. Why do you need us? Asked Kisame. This was too much of an easy task, it will be boring. The primary objective of your mission is to eliminate the entire Black Light, and also Commander Phoenix, Zetsu said. But guys, if you ain't subscribed right here, if you want the next person to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification stay posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto's Hope of the Uchiha clan and enjoyed that, guys. And also, I also posted a brand new episode of What If Naruto had the ultimate nature bloodline over in Making 3. So go ahead and enjoy that, guys. But I'm out for now. See you guys very soon. Peace.